Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the plenary. I can see you're still in the mood of discussing, which is good, and I have to say I was observing you as you were participating in the World Cafe, and I really enjoyed the conversation pieces I picked up, and I think it was quite a nice setting to conclude this conference. But of course, now we are a bit curious to hear what precisely you've been discussing and what you take away as an inspiration from this discussion for your work. So I would kindly please ask everybody who has the inspirational spark paper off their World Cafe table to raise their hand, to wave with the paper. And I will come and join some of you to pick up some insights. Hi, could you please stand up, introduce yourself, and share with us what's your inspirational spark?
Hello, I'm Andreas. I'm coming from the Cyprus Youth Council. The spark that it was inspirational for us, it was that we have discussions that broaden our horizon. They help us understand different perspectives, opinions, and exchange different ideas from different points of view between the delegates, youth delegates, and the ministerial delegates. So it was really interesting.
Thank you very much for sharing. Can I see more of the papers? Who else has a paper? Sorry, can I just briefly pass? Thanks. Hi. Can I ask you, can you briefly introduce yourself and share with us what's your inspirational spark? Then you can take the mic for yourself.
Of course. So I'm Thomas, I'm the youth delegate from Germany. And in the end, we've came to the conclusion that oftentimes both ministerial delegates and youth delegates share the same view. And now it is finally the time to act on this common ground.
Thank you very much. Where do we have more inspirational sparks? Okay. I wanted to go away, but well, this has been an invitation. Would you please kindly stand up?
Yes, hello Orla. I did not volunteer myself. These are my colleagues. I'm Orla. I'm the Director General for Youth in Ireland. Our inspirational spark is a practical recommendation. We felt that for future youth forums that we should open them up to local groups in the community, so that when we have our session in Ireland in 2026, we will bring, and I'm so thankful for the young people who came up with this idea, we will bring local youth groups along, a way that the young people and NGOs dealing with young people in the community that we're based actually see what's happening. And I think it is a way to break down some of the barriers, and certainly a way that will possibly get some press coverage, so young people throughout the country will hopefully learn about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Hey, could I also ask you to stand up and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Celine from the Croatian Youth Network, the National Youth Council of Croatia. And the spark on the group was that member states should learn from each other, and how to improve the partnership between the youth delegates and the national representatives.
Okay, thank you very much. Here you go.
Thank you for the microphone. Hello, everyone. I am Cierre from the Bulgarian delegation. I'm a youth delegate. And this very cool, inspirational spark befell me from the skies. And so I'd like to present it to you. It is an inspiration to try and remove all barriers and make equality and the total all inclusion of all young people a youth priority. And as realistic as I try to be, let's all be optimistic and let's all do our best to realize this spark. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who else would like to share? As you see a paper there, I will come to you next, don't worry.
Hi everyone, my name is Rudolf Kasper, I'm from Estonia, and I'm youth delegate. So, because we were talking about inspirational spark, so I would love to say all of you, good morning. And why I want to say good morning, even we have already the day, I would say this, all this conference is like a new day for us now when it's getting to start over. And 2 ideas what we got from us, like our group was, first of all, that compulsory monitoring and reporting back to all involved in process. So the youth delegates who are in the process, this next, for example, 18 months, afterwards, the ministry should contact them and tell what the really change they are doing with those points. So those points will not only stay on the paper, but they will be reality. And second part, second thought is that youth councils should have some platform to cooperate and exchange knowledge more together, because we are one Europe and we can do so much together. So I think it's very inspiring spark for all of you to do something together to make Europe better. So let's go. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Could I ask you to also present your inspirational spark?
Okay, hello, my name is Mehdi and I'm the young delegate from France. So in my group, we agreed on 3 things that encourage us to take action. So first, spreading awareness on youth issues. Secondly, sharing issues and problematics, looking for a common approach. And finally, to create a network between national parliaments to exchange, for example, good practices.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else? One final spark somebody would like to share? Last opportunity. Yes, over there. There you go.
Okay. I'm Cindy. I come from the National Working Group from Spain. Thank you all for coming. We had such a great night. And our inspirational spark has 2 sides. First, we have same problems, and we are here to have different solutions. We've seen what doesn't work, and our proposal was to focus in awareness, because there are mechanisms, there are strategies, the implementation is there, but somehow we do not get that information. And how could we do that? Well, what we are aiming at is agility in the administration, and our proposal was to have innovative roles. We've talked about mediators, we talked about NGOs, we talked about youth that is doing roles that maybe are not the ones they should do. So maybe let's integrate that into our administration policies and try to compensate the lack of timely resources or timely solutions with agility, because we are plenty of people and I'm sure we can compensate for that. And thanks, yes.
Thank you very much, Cindy. And again, thank you to all of you for participating in this discussion. And I know especially for the delegates who have already been talking so much, but I think it was quite important that we now take the time to really exchange and to also use the opportunity of having decision makers among us to think about how we can move forward. Some of you have maybe seen me at different events, so you will know my metaphor, but why did I choose inspirational spark? I'm a scout. As scouts, we like to make fire, right? So when you make a fire, you use a spark to lighten up the fire. But that doesn't mean that the fire will become a big bonfire or that it will burn. You need to nurture the spark. And that's what I really want to encourage you to do leaving this conference. It's not enough that we have many sparks, many great ideas flying around, but we need to commit and contribute to actually letting the sparks grow and become a big fire, which in a positive way maybe also ignite other people to continue the work. So please, I really want to encourage you, do follow up on these discussions, and especially to the DGs, I wish you much of luck for your discussions during the DG meeting, where you hopefully will also pick up some of the thoughts you gained during the World Café. To conclude the World Café, I would like to invite Andras, our European researcher, just to ask you as well, Andras, from a researcher or harvesting perspective, what do you think about hearing all these inspirational sparks? How will we move forward with this during the cycle?
Right. I mean, I would like to reiterate what you just said. It's really important that all of us take our own share of responsibility and take as much as possible with us when we go home. There will be, all of this is part of the consultation process. This consultation process will be finished roughly March next year. and then we will take it onward from there, and the implementation process that will follow will be building on the consultation process itself.
Nice. So again, if you want to follow up on the process, then first of all, get engaged with your national working groups, go to the youth portal to check out the outcomes, the documents, maybe even from previous cycles, and we are very much looking forward to seeing the reports you will be creating and continue working with them. Thank you again, and good luck now with all these sparks.
Thank you so much.
Kova, I think we are already approaching a little bit the end of the conference. And in the past days for the DGs, that's a new thing, but we always want to take a moment to also look back at what happened the past days. And I think we have something again, right?
Yes, so for all the new people in the room, every day we have a great video from the day before that our tech team prepares for us to recap on what happened the day before. So you will be able to see a sneak peek of what the delegates did yesterday if you weren't here. And if you are here, you can try to find yourself in the video because it will be very good. So I will pass on this to the tech team if we can just have the video played now.
Again, this video will be published any moment on social media for you to share, but there was a very important part missing. Yes, the great party last night. Our tech team is still working and putting together the videos from last night, and during the next hours, you will find the great aftermovie of the party last night on social media as well. So enjoy watching that later on.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would really like to say thanks again to the tech team because these recap videos are so nice and it's really good that you take the time to prepare from one day to another. So thank you again. And right now I would like to introduce a feedback moment that we will do right in a minute. So if I can ask the slides to be in the screen, if I can have the clicker as well. Okay, so some of you might know this tool, but it's really easy and simple. You can scan the QR code, or you can use menti.com and the numbers that are up on the screen. I know that are not really big, but maybe if you can also see them there. You can stand up and come up if you can't scan from your seats. The idea is that you can share a word that can sum up your highlight from the conference. And yeah, I will just in a minute show you everything. So, well, karaoke, okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, Kova. No, I mean, it's, of course, networking and also the informal spaces are always important, but it's good to see that you're remarking the good organization that I truly feel the same, and also the youth participation and the people, of course, the food, because we are in Spain, you know, we like that. And also, I mean, of course, we are always, like, every time we do these things, there are not so good comments, and it's normal. It's normal that you have feedback that is not always the best, but we are here to know if you liked and if you enjoyed or not. So, of course, there will always be things, but I think in general there are like really nice things, like the cultural involvement, for example. I think it was great. Myself and also the group sessions, we know that they were really intense, and you did a lot of work in such a small amount of time. But yeah, I think if you, as you could see in the after movie, like most of the video was on the group sessions because delegates were really, really busy yesterday, just reflecting on our guiding questions and so. But I mean, networking seems to be the biggest word, and I think it's something that you can take home. And personally, I really like that networking is something that, because that's also something that can continue through the cycle, that you can then take offline, and it's so nice. And also, for example, the expert, that's something very specific, but it's good that we could have experts in the field in the sessions. I think that was something that, yeah, you could really take advantage of and then leverage afterwards. It's part of the networking as well. So I will pass on to the next slide, that is a bit more emotional. So you can choose one or everything, but it's just more about how you feel after the conference, if you feel grateful. I personally feel really grateful. As I said when I came first on the stage, I was telling to Clara that this is my first conference. I was really nervous. So I'm really grateful because I felt really good here on the stage, also with the people in the sessions. I feel grateful also for the facilitation team because they've been amazing facilitators and harvesters. But of course, inspired, well, energized, I have to confess that I'm not energized at all at the moment. So it's normal that you're not really energized, but for sure you will be when you reflect when you're back home. For those who are staying, I know you have a lot of work to do, so I really hope that the energized people in the room is the one who stays, because you have some things, important things to do afterwards. But of course, inspired is, I think it's the best thing that you can be after this session, because it was intense, but we had a lot of discussions that you can't really do when you're at home, because here it was like a lot of people from different countries, from different organizations, councils, and a lot of ministerial delegates as well. And also now today with the DGs, it was something that you can extract from it, that you can get inspired from people that is really different from what you are. So I'm really happy that you feel inspired, actually. I'm inspired as well, or I think I will be. I'm inspired also by Clara, that she was really inspiring because she has a lot of experience in the field, so it was really good to have her as my partner here, because I've learned a lot of things that I can take home as well. And again, thank you so much for feeling that good, actually. So if we can just finish with this, I will go to little bit more serious stuff related to the closing, that is the closing speeches that we have prepared for you today. So I think if we can come back to the previous slide, I will just give this back here. And I will start introducing David Veloso, General Director from Injuve, our hosts here. Please come to the stage.
Estimadas delegaciones de Juventud, comisión e invitados de honor, les agradezco mucho que hayan venido hasta aquí a Alicante. Agradezco mucho la valoración excelente y positiva de todos ustedes y que la inspiración haya sido el valor central de esta conferencia. Esta última sesión ha sido muy estimulante e inspiradora para nosotros, poderles escuchar de primera mano vuestras inquietudes y demandas. En todos ustedes he notado una especial preocupación porque los decisores políticos tengamos en cuenta las desigualdades sociales que afectan a los jóvenes para no dejarles atrás. Como saben, la presidencia española del Consejo ha apostado en estos 6 meses por una agenda social, poniendo la justicia social como una de nuestras prioridades. Es el eje de nuestro trabajo en este sentido. La inclusión de los grupos vulnerables es el eje sobre el que pivota nuestra democracia. Como han podido debatir en los grupos, los jóvenes se enfrentan diariamente con barreras para la inclusión. Muchas están ocultas, pero hay otras muy visibles, como el idioma. En mi caso, yo, por ejemplo, no puedo dirigirme a ustedes en inglés porque no lo domino. Pero aún así, creo que también es positivo que los decisores políticos se enfrenten con estos problemas y estemos dispuestos a solucionarlos. En esta conferencia es prueba de que las personas jóvenes están llenas de ideas para mejorar la inclusión de nuestras sociedades. Por eso estamos escuchándoles. En el Gobierno de España estamos convencidos que no solo hay que contar con la juventud, también que ésta debe jugar un rol fundamental a la hora de construir las políticas públicas. Por ello, hemos llevado en el Consejo 2 borradores que actualmente están debatiéndose en Bruselas. Uno sobre salud mental, que atienda no solo las consecuencias, sino también que se dirija a las causas, y otro que ha sido también foco en estos días, que es el mainstreaming de las políticas públicas, para que la participación directa tenga en cuenta el impacto en las políticas públicas del enfoque de juventud. Puedo decir con orgullo que esta implicación con la participación juvenil la hemos puesto en práctica en nuestra legislatura en España. El Instituto al que pertenezco y el Ministerio de Derechos Sociales y Agenda 2030 ha promovido diálogos intersectoriales e interministeriales para que la juventud esté presente y sea abordada de forma integral y transversal. Recientemente, el texto final de la primera ley de vivienda estatal en nuestra democracia ha sido clave la aportación de los jóvenes para tener la primera ley, como decía, en nuestra democracia, en materia de vivienda. Por tanto, otra política es posible. Deben sentirse muy orgullosos porque vuestro trabajo y vuestras demandas están poco a poco generando esos cambios en la Unión Europea. Sin ustedes, el proyecto europeo creo que es imposible. Reconocer los derechos de la juventud es una obligación política de nuestros Estados, pero también es una cuestión estratégica para la Unión Europea, ya que son nuestros jóvenes quienes defenderán las instituciones que dan forma a la Unión y a nuestras democracias. Por último, me gustaría agradecer especialmente a Sofía Eriksson, director de For Youth Education and Erasmus Plus de la Comisión Europea. Sofía se ha mostrado en todo momento implicada, involucrada, para que la juventud sea tenida en cuenta en la política comunitaria. Muchas gracias, Sofía. Estamos muy contentos de tenerte aquí con nosotros y que también participes en la reunión de directores generales. También me gustaría tener unas palabras de aprecio para el trabajo realizado por el European Youth Forum y el Consejo de la Juventud de España. Han sido clave para que esta conferencia haya sido un éxito. En concreto, muchas gracias a Andrea y a Nicolás por haberse implicado tanto en esta conferencia. Y también a todas las organizaciones, a los participantes, a los jóvenes delegados, a los investigadores, expertos, que en general a todos los asistentes, porque creo que con vuestra energía esta conferencia creo honestamente que ha sido un éxito. Muchas gracias.
So, muchas gracias, David. Thank you so much. Well, thank you to all the Injuve team. They've been working a lot. Thank you for hosting us so well here. I think this was great, and thank you so much for this. Now, I would like to introduce another speech. It's slightly different because the speech is coming from Ignacio Álvarez, our State Secretary for Social Rights in Spain, but due to last-minute agenda changes, he could not really attend, but he would really like to be here, even if it's in a digital way. So we will see some words he has to share with us right now on the screen.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants for their presence in Alicante today, and especially the European Commission's Director for Youth, Education and Erasmus, Sofia Eriksson. I would have liked to be with you today, but unfortunately a last-minute change of agenda made it impossible for me. As we all know, the context of recent years have been marked by a wave of different crises that have shaken the pillars of our welfare states. Young people have been the main victims of this difficult situation throughout Europe, which has forced them into a high degree of uncertainty. The main challenges facing young people are widely known: access to decent and affordable housing, stable and quality employment, emancipation, the right to quality education, improving their political participation, and making progress in the fight against climate crisis. These issues have been discussed in depth during the Youth Conference that is coming to an end today. It is important that we take on the demands and concerns of European youth as our own in order to improve their well-being and strengthen their rights. The government of Spain is convinced that young people must be part of the elaboration of public policies and that their demands must be placed at the center. For this reason, for the first time, the conference has had a specific session of dialogue between young participants and the political decision makers in which both have been able to debate and dialogue on the conclusions reached. One factor that makes it difficult to address youth issues is the cross-cutting nature. This is something that forces us to incorporate the youth approach in all public policies. And to do so, during the Spanish presidency of the Council of the European Union, we have promoted Council conclusions that contribute to offering a response to guarantee the rights and well-being of European youth. And we want to do this by promoting greater coordination between the institutions of the European Union and the member states. In this sense, we consider that it is essential to incorporate a youth mainstreaming in the design, monitoring, and evaluation of the decisions that affect young people. On the other hand, almost 1 in 2 young Europeans reported having unmet, unfulfilled mental health care needs. From the Spanish presidency of the Council of the European Union, we assume this demand from European youth, and to this end, we are going to promote Council conclusions on mental health. Let's continue working together to push forward the youth agenda in the European Union and to guarantee young people the present and, above all, the future they deserve. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, I would like to take back the words from David, and I would like to introduce Sofia Eriksson, Director for Youth, Education and Erasmus Plus at the European Commission. Sorry.
So, I first noticed I had different glasses on that photo, but we are the same person. Look, my first observation, and I must admit I feel inspired, I feel energized, and I feel grateful. So I have a feeling this whole room projects these good results and all the interactions that have happened in the last 3 days. And somehow the little survey proved this. Now I will, before giving back all the nice thanks, I feel I was too much thanked, but I may be a more modest person, but I will tell you, I will share with you 3 messages and 1 question for potential further reflection. But my first message is actually thanks. And the thanks, okay, I need to elaborate a little bit because there are some really important thanks here to make. And the first one, I arrived yesterday and I am completely taken aback by the incredible hospitality that Spanish presidency has given to us. Certainly choosing this venue is incredible. Also allowing us to enjoy this fantastic venue yesterday evening, the food, the cultural program, so well chosen also, representing the theme of this conference. Big thanks to, of course, State Secretary who talked to us, but I think I'm looking that way, David and the whole team. Really big thanks, amazing. And of course, the thanks needs to continue a little bit, because the thanks go beyond the organizers, and you've done an amazing job. I have heard my thanks, of course, goes to the logistics and the whole organization of the conference, beyond the cultural program yesterday. But the thanks should also go to all of you, the youth delegates, because I think you are absolutely amazing in the way that you have been engaging and I think agreed to a very tight time schedule. You've agreed to be super creative, think sometimes in new ways, and try to have this, what I call a no-fear approach, that we saw also the conclusions. you think you have dreams, and you have shared those dreams, and you have also shown that you're not only having the big dreams, you have also shown that you can find solutions. You can think also in practical terms. So this is not an easy job, it's not an easy task, but I think you have proven so much, and I hear it certainly from my colleagues in the Commission who has been here since Sunday. So big thanks to that, and thanks personally, because some of you I have had the chance to speak to, and those conversations have been extremely rich. And I feel, thanks to that, I feel this energy and the inspiration. So perhaps the thanks also go to, let's say, what happened before, and here I extend it, of course, to the DGs in the room, because there's a bigger preparatory work in terms of how things are organized at national level. I know the work of the working groups is absolutely essential for having a productive EU conference, a youth conference. So thanks to you. Then, of course, I cannot stand here and not also thank the whole trio, the new trio, the Spanish, Belgian, and Hungarian presidencies, or future Belgian and future Hungarian presidents, and the current Spanish. The whole fact that we have this strong cycle of the EU Youth Dialogue, it is thanks to, well, we are a contributing partner, of course, also with the Youth Forum, but I think really driven here, as you've seen through the trio, and exemplified in the start by the Spanish presidency. It's going to be difficult to match up for the other two, but I'm sure you will make it. And it's also kind of a special moment. It's the kickoff of this first round of consultation, and I understand you have mentioned it several times, but I mention it again. It's funny how we are living it again, the same trio constellation that kicked off the first EU Youth Dialogue 13 years ago now, I think. So now get to the theme of this, the trio theme. We need youth, with this special pronunciation. And the focus on inclusion, of course, this is so relevant. You can do a lot with it, but it's so relevant in these times, and I fully agree with that. And perhaps putting a European perspective in these times, I would say Europe really needs its youth, and every single one of Europe's young people. It's a very, very important moment, and you may guess why I'm saying this. We are now 9 months away from the next European elections. And this is, as all elections, it's really an important election. And I would say a lot of what I've heard here, all your aspirations, your dreams, your solutions, I mean, this is a chance for you to express how you see, or which of these representatives in these elections do you prefer to believe in, or that you want to put your vote on. This is a very important choice, because it is a choice that will affect the future. So think very carefully and go and vote. And perhaps, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking to those you have already planned, you've marked in your calendars, I hope so, you will be voting and so on. But perhaps you, as multipliers or ambassadors, if I can call it like that, perhaps you can have a role in making sure that many or all our young people out there are actually voting as well. So I would say it's an invitation from me to you, and maybe you already feel this engagement, but make sure that all your friends and family and peers and anyone you meet in your networks, that they really go and vote. And I don't know how many of you have had a contact with a European parliamentarians. Can you hold up your hand if you have been in touch? And maybe the question here is more on the youth delegates, not the DGs or not the youth forum, because I know you are already doing that. But for the youth delegates, can you hold up your hands? So we have a few, not so many. Can we have an agreement that after this one of the tasks that you go and talk? I mean, these days they start to be known in your country who are the ones on the top lists. Go and ask them, and you come with your conclusions, your ideas that you have discussed and shared in groups today, and you ask them, what do you think of this? Can you agree with this? Are you ready to fight for these solutions? Because we have to be practical, and in the end, if we want these changes, we can talk a lot, but in the end, we need to also get into the system, and that's an opportunity with the election. So that was my second message. The first message, thank you. The second message is go and vote. Now, Inclusion, I will not even delve into the substance of what we have talked, because we had excellent presentations by Andras, and you all shared your sparks. I think there's so much to say, and actually you have been extremely concrete on what the barriers are and what kind of solutions do you see. So I just congratulate you for having done this good job. Maybe a practical or a way of looking at things. Of course, we all want to see change very rapidly and everything at once. My only advice is don't be disappointed if you don't see it happen all at once. Sometimes if you take a small step, it's a small step that goes in the right direction, and perhaps that's also a way of looking at it. You're moving, maybe it goes much slower than you hope, but sometimes this is also the right direction, and the small step can lead to the long step. So clearly you will make us work even more. These are messages that you have delivered for Commission, clearly, but also for all the member state representatives in the room. We have to take these recommendations, or at least the first part of the recommendations of this meeting, as serious, and we should really act upon them where we can. Now, the EU is doing a lot for young people. I mean, I need to say that. I'm sure you have heard it over the days, but it's good to remind ourselves. And as you may know, and I think Biljana, our EU Youth Coordinator, has been able to share with you what is the EU Youth Strategy. We have our Engage, we have our Connect, we have our Empower pillars, and of course, under each we have a lot of concrete instruments where we try to encourage participation and make sure that your views count. Now, the EU Youth Dialogue is probably the instrument. We always say it's the biggest European consultation instrument, but I would dare to say it is the biggest one in the world. I'm not sure there's another one that can compete. What is positive with the Youth Dialogue, and we see it more and more, that it is actually, we have come already some distance when it comes to inclusion. I'm sure we can do more, but also we hear from our researchers, we do see that the inclusion aspects of the dialogue has certainly improved over the years. So that's a good trend, and we need to keep that trend. We are really happy that we have a super active EU Youth Coordinator. I come back to Biljana, and I hope you have had the chance to speak to her. For us, this was a novelty with the new EU Youth Strategy, that we have a bit of a face that young people can feel connected to and actually get in touch with. So I'm super happy that Biljana could join us for this whole conference. So do stay in touch, I mean, with all of us, but clearly Biljana, you know her almost, her name and number now, so no excuse not to continue the conversation. The flagship programs for youth, Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps, they are really, they give a lot of opportunities, we know that, and I've spoken to many of you, and you have all, or many of you actually have experiences of them. Some of you may not yet have it, but it's good there to note that we are really trying, and I think we can start to see some results. We have a new strategy, an inclusion and diversity strategy, because we have to keep on working and making sure that we reach out and that these programs give opportunities for all. So this is, I would say, as well, a beginning of a long journey. So we need to keep up this, and perhaps you can also, through your networks and being an ambassador in this sense, you can help promote these opportunities to those who may not be aware even that it is an opportunity for them. And that's, of course, a very strong instrument in our youth strategy. By the way, I don't know if there are any 18-year-olds in the room. Do we have anyone? Or not yet, or that's over? Okay. I'm sure you know many 18-year-olds in the room, but if I'm not mistaken, actually the Commission is launching the new round of Discover EU today. So I think it means you have more or less 2 weeks to inscribe, and you know this is a bit of a teaser activity, a way to discover Europe in a green way, and hopefully that also gives you a taste for trying other EU opportunities. So do inscribe and spread the message, please. Now, we are in quite important times in terms of both our strategy, both our programs. We always need to, of course, look back and evaluate what goes well and what doesn't go so well. So this is happening now, and I think that's my invitation for you. If you want to influence the next steps of our EU youth strategy, influence how our programs should look in the future, this is the moment to also discuss between you, and when you go back to the working groups, please consider that you may want to contribute directly into these important exercises. And needless to say, the budget discussions will, well, it's already starting between heads of state, but we need to make sure that the budget, future budget, we're talking about 28 to 34, the EU budget, we need to make sure that the budget is up for the challenges and for the opportunities that we want to give to young people. So that's another important message I want you to bear with you. Now we come to my question, because I think my messages, I hope they were clear. The third one was that indeed share and encourage your peers to take part in opportunities for our programs. My question is more linked to what the State Secretary highlighted, because you notice when we meet in this way, we are in a youth participation setting, but we talk about everything. We talk about all policies. And certainly for inclusion, I notice this is a very much a comprehensive way you look at the challenges, so there is also a holistic or comprehensive way at looking at solutions. So we know very well from the 22 European Year of Youth that this so-called mainstreaming, youth mainstreaming, was really top on the agenda, and the need or the wish to better embed the youth perspective in the policy-making processes, both at member state and European level. It is really a big ask from, I think, young people today. So there, we are, of course, looking into that from the Commission side, and I know many member states do the same, and some even have their own models of this. So my question is there a way that we can use the EU Youth Dialogue? It's a powerful instrument, but is there a way that we can use the EU Youth Dialogue for this purpose? Is there a way we can concretely imagine the dialogue contributes to this youth mainstreaming? So I don't necessarily have the answer, but I would like to share with you this question for further reflection when you go back home and continue thinking about it. So I think three messages and one question. It's done. We'll for sure continue from the side of the Commission to engage, to connect and empower, and certainly continue collaborating and networking and hopefully inspire and being inspired, as your Mentimeter also said. So clearly, Europe needs youth and Europe needs you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Okay, here we are again.
Closing speeches are done. That can only mean one thing. We are about to conclude this conference. It has been some intense days, I can tell you. And also for the people watching online, I'm sure you got some impressions of how hard people in the room have been working, of how hard people in general who are participating in the cycle are and will be working, will be getting engaged. At this point, before we conclude the conference, I would already like to say goodbye to the viewers online, because we will close the stream a little bit earlier, because of course, the best part of every conference closing are the organizational notes. And we will come to that in just about a few minutes, but we want to take this opportunity to just say goodbye and thank you for joining us online, and please be back for the next EU Youth Conference, which is going to take place from the 2nd till 5th of March 2024 in Ghent in Belgium. Thank you. Kova, how do you feel?
Honestly, well, I already said, but I feel really, really grateful. It's been a real pleasure. It's been amazing. It was, as I said, not only my first conference, but truly one of my few first times here in the stage. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much, for example, Consejo de la Juventud de España, because you gave me this great opportunity. You trusted me, and I hope that it was good. And also I feel, again, energized, but it will take time, but I feel super energized because I love seeing young people doing great stuff and really young people around, and that's why, yeah, I feel, yeah, I think it's been great, honestly.
I really want to take that moment because, as you said, gratefulness is certainly one part of it, and we already had a lot of thanks, but I would really like to do one final big round of applause for really all the stakeholders that have been involved in this process, and I will briefly name everybody, and then we take all the last energy reserves we have, put them in our hands, and give them one round of applause. So thank you very much, first of all, to the Spanish presidency, to the National Youth Council, who has been involved in the preparation, who hired all the lovely young people as harvesters and facilitators who supported us in the conference. Thank you to Acciona, who have been organizing this conference from start to beginning, the small and the big details, and of course also all the young stewards who have been around the hotel responding to every question we could ask them and always being there for us. Thank you to the tech team for also giving us these great plenaries and also helping us to stream the message outside. You also have been working quite hard, and you will continue to work quite hard. And last but not least, of course, thank you to all the delegates, to all the people who have been preparing for this conference, to be here, to join, to take the time. We don't take it for granted that you leave your offices, you leave your universities, schools, work, to come here and join us. So thank you, everybody, for participating. I remember that song until we see us in Belgium again. I will have that song in my mind, believe me. As a European facilitator, I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the cycle and the work which we will continue. And I already said we had the handover of the presidencies. We will see again in Belgium next year, and of course also in summer in Hungary to conclude this cycle. So we very much look forward to seeing you, and the organizational note we have to give you before you leave off and take all these inspirational sparks out to the world is that we want to have one last family photo with everybody. And for this, Kova, where will we be going?
Actually, I think for this family photo, we are also meeting at the entrance. So Acciona people, again, will guide us through the point where we will meet for all this photo moment.
Let's give us one moment to conclude, because there's one more important information.
And also the lunch that will be served upstairs right after the photo. So just take that time also to do networking, as we have seen that you really enjoy that a lot. And I think we're done.
I think that's it. Have a very safe journey back home, and see you next year in Belgium. Thank you.